Welcome to episode 20 of the Ringo Report. I'm your host, Brandon Ringo. Thank you so much for watching. For those who are sad that we didn't do episode 20 last week, there's a lot going on. Kurt had to go shoot Taking Back Sunday in Fayetteville, so that was like a cool thing happening. And then I lost my voice on Tuesday morning, and then played a show somehow on Wednesday night, and so between all that, we just weren't able to get it done. But there's a lot of really cool stuff to talk about this week happening really throughout the natural state, specifically like Central Arkansas, but there's some really cool stuff happening in Fayetteville. So the first thing I want to get to is tonight happening at the Whitewater Tavern is Katsu and Birds with Teeth, which Birds with Teeth is so cool to me because like their music, it's poppy and it's indie, but a lot of it's like bluegrass covers, and they're just done so well and so thoughtful. So like this show is going to be really cool because Katsu is also awesome. And then another really cool show happening tonight at Sticky's. The Groove Gazette presents an all-film-fronted lineup featuring Leah Lynch, Buckshot Princess, and Jupiter's Flytrap. Specifically, I've seen Jupiter's Flytrap before, and they also do some really cool covers and stuff like you wouldn't expect. Like when I saw them at Vino's earlier this year, they did a cover of Aerials by System of a Down. And then I talked to the vocalist after. She said she'd never heard that song before. So that was impressive. So that's definitely a really cool show to check out. And then tonight in Fayetteville, the Big Sad, the Idioms, and Not the Sun are going to be playing at George's Majestic Lounge. And then a really cool show that's going to be happening Friday. There's actually a lot going on Friday in both all over the state, actually. Specifically, so starting with Central Arkansas, at Vino's, we've got Freddie Versus is going to be playing with House Treehouse and Sonic Fuzz, which that's like a really cool show, kind of punk, kind of indie, kind of fuzzy, kind of just a really cool rock show, basically, but not your typical sound, I suppose. So that's going to be happening at Vino's. And then also at Fullman Records in Conway, Salon Blonde, Jupiter's Flytrap, and the Incompleteness Theorem are going to be playing, which that's also like kind of an all-star lineup of up-and-coming kind of non-heavy bands in the area. And then at Whitewater Tavern, they're going to be hosting Jeremy Pinnell and Summer Dean. And then, so Friday night up in Northwest Arkansas, starting with Fort Smith, there's a show happening there at Heroes, which features Grand Inquisitor, Blind Oath, and Rant. And now Grand Inquisitor is really cool because they're like like what you would call trad metal or like traditional heavy metal, basically. They've got female vocalists, sound absolutely incredible. Their music is very King Diamond-y. And then really you're going to get about the same with Blind Oath because they're a band that's from Tulsa that I met them when we played a show there, and they were just so cool. And like their music is also very much like traditional heavy metal. With kind of like black metal-y vocals, and so if you live in Fort Smith, that's a really cool show to go to. You definitely don't want to miss. And then another show happening at George's in Fayetteville Friday night. Mildenhall and Monk is King are going to be playing, which that's going to be a cool show. And then at Smoking Barrel on Friday night, my band Man with Caravan, I was alongside Stash Hag, Fight Dream, and Tao of Lucy are going to be playing, which that's going to be more of like a low-key, like kind of a sludge, stonery type show. And then happening at Nomad's Trailside is another Little Rock band, Pantheon, is going to be playing alongside Dismembered and Pool. And so that's another really cool show happening in Fayetteville. So, so there's a lot going on there on Friday. Now, happening Saturday at EJ's here in Little Rock, Dead Party Media presents Sonic Fuzz. Wait, who's who? And Sensor Ghost. That's going to be happening at EJ's, which is kind of a happening little spot for they do like really cool stuff. They're starting to do a lot of cool stuff, and they get some of the smaller shows that maybe can't get booked at Vino's for whatever reason. And so EJ's is a great place. And then also happening on Saturday at the Whitewater Tavern, they're going to have Jesse Daniel. And then happening at Hot Springs on Saturday, Prop Hunter, Freddy Versus, and Fight Dream are going to be playing at Maxine's, which that show's actually like kind of a cool like mixed genre, thing. But like also Fight Dream fits the bill perfectly. And I'm really excited. I get to see them for the first time on Friday at Smoking Barrel because like I've been looking forward to seeing them for a long time. Also, I haven't seen Tout Lucy before, so this is gonna be cool. And there's just a lot happening this weekend. But on Tuesday, there's some really cool stuff happening in Little Rock. There's two really big shows. One of them is Chapel Roan. She's going to be bringing her Midwest Princess tour to the hall. And this is probably one of the last times you'll see her in a venue that size, honestly, because she just continues to get bigger and bigger every day. Her like I've heard her song like "Good Luck, Babe," and like I listened to the record and I just love it. And so I definitely see why it sold out very, very quickly. So so if you don't have tickets to that show, but you still want to see something cool on Tuesday night, Oceana, The Last 10 Seconds of Life, Awake in Providence, and Current Solace are going to be playing at the Rev Room. So it's probably been about a decade or so since Oceana has come to Little Rock, and so it's very cool that they're coming back. Also, Last 10 Seconds of Life. I remember I was supposed to see them when I first moved here back in 2022. They were going to play at Vino's, and the show got canceled, and I was sad. And so I'm stoked that they're coming back, and I'll get to see them. So that's going to be fun. And then, as if I didn't already get enough death metal on Tuesday, on Wednesday, this is a show that I've been so excited about. It's Exhumed, Morbicon, Skeletal Remains, and Pantheon at the Whitewater Tavern. So, like, this show is so cool because Exhumed is a legendary death metal band. They've been doing it for forever. They're bringing their Decayed Decades tour with it, only playing like their stuff from their first 2 or 3 records. And so it's going to be very cool getting to see them play a venue the size of the Whitewater Tavern. Also, I am so stoked to see Skeletal Remains. Like their music is it's so technical and so brutal. And so the fact that they're coming here and the fact they're playing a venue the size of Whitewater is just, oh God, I'm so excited. It is going to be a hell of a night. It's going to be a hell of a death metal show. And so I'm really stoked. That's a lot of shows that I'll be seeing. But I also, in the last couple of weeks, I got to go through basically a marathon of heavy metal programs. So 2 weeks ago, I managed to see 21 bands in the span of 4 or 5 days here in Central Arkansas. And so I wanted to talk about some of this because I got to see some really cool shit. So on that Tuesday night, I started my week by I got to see Severe Headwind with Machete Eddie on drums for the first time at Vino's, that was so cool. I hadn't seen Zash in a long time, so I got to see them. And I got to see the debut of To The Grave, which was so cool. They've got members of older bands like Scorched Earth and Killer and stuff. Their vocalist is Chris from TAC Wrestling, aka Big Spooky. And I tell you what, he is a monster on vocals. He had a command of the stage, and God, their set was so cool, and the crowd was super into it, and people were absolutely destroying each other. So that was a great way to start my week. Also, Corpse Pile and Body Box, they played that show, and those guys are phenomenal as well. The next night on that Wednesday, I went to the Rev Room, and I got to see Kubla Khan, Harm's Way, Pain of Truth, and Justice for the Damned. And so I haven't been to a show at the Rev Room with that many people in probably about a decade. Last time would have been when I saw St. Vitus, Weed Eater, Yob, and Wake, and somebody else on that. So getting to see a show at the Rev Room like that was just so cool. Harm's Way was just absolutely everything I dreamed. They were the reason why I bought that ticket, and they were everything I hoped they would be. I had listened to Kubla Khan a little bit before that show was announced and stuff, and I knew they were coming to town. But after the show was announced, I got my ticket stuff. I was like, well, let's listen to them and see what they sound like. And I was blown away by how much I enjoyed them, And so So it was cool. And then, so Kubicon, they absolutely like just crushed it. Watching people's like stage dive and stuff was so cool. And like the whole vibe was of the night was just so cool. So shout out to the Banging of the Rock dudes for putting on such a like a hell of a show. Like it was so much fun. And definitely something I'll never forget. And then the rest of the week was spent at Mutants of the Monster Fest, where I got to see a variety of different bands. Some of the ones that I saw specifically that stood out to me, one of my favorite sets was from Direwolf. They were just absolutely, it was killer. They sounded so good. You know, they just released this album, and it sounds great. And then getting to hear those songs for the album live at Mutants was just so special to me. Also, I got to see the band Sports, which is it's two members of Paul Bear, is Brett and Joe, and they basically and it was like another dude like who I didn't get his name. He was on keyboards, and like it was the wildest thing because basically what happened is they put all of their amps and cabs on the stage, and played like their guitars through it and stuff. And they also had like synths going, and it was just like this. It was kind of noisy. It was very much like a soundscape. But what was so striking is the visual accompaniment featuring like lasers and stuff. Which like the JP, the guy that does the laser show, he like does shows he does stuff for like the Red Hot Chili Peppers and U2, and he does like laser shows for like these huge events and stuff. So the fact that he was doing them in Little Rock is kind of rare, and the fact that he was doing it for like that kind of performance, it was so cool. And then also another cool thing that happened in that same kind of time frame is Paul Bear had a listening party for their new album Mind Burns Alive, and which was so cool. Getting to like they had a cake for it, and they had like snacks, so like getting to stand around and like listen to the record while the guys just kind of hang out. It was an experience I'll never forget for sure. Another band that I saw over the weekend was Tempest Terra, which I had heard their name before, but now they have they've got a new drummer, they've got basically all new members, and like they just absolutely like killed it. It was so good. Like the riffs are so heavy. There was a flute. There was screaming. It was just Tempest Terra is definitely a band that as they begin to play more shows here, you definitely want to check out because they're just so good and just such a force. Another really cool band is kind of an actual up and coming band. This was their second set. Was a Pig Sticker. I finally got to see them, which that was really cool. They played the 4-quarter show at Mutants, and just absolutely like they crushed it. Their music is so violent, so angry, and so loud. And these dudes definitely are going someplace, and I'm glad to see them. And it was cool to actually get to meet them as well. Another band that played one that kind of had their big debut was Coach Light. And Coach Light was absolutely killer. They had a cool light show. They had Austin Sublette on guitar. Abby Holt's the vocals were so good. And like the mixture of her with Austin was like with his screams was really cool. So yeah, Coach Light was awesome. Also, Deadbird was just absolutely incredible. They did a kind of it was like a 4-song set, but it was like a kind of it went through their discography basically, and so like a song from each. It was like, a song from each of their main 3 records plus a new song. So Deadbird was absolutely killer. Weed Eater was amazing as usual, and then also Crankbait, which was so cool because one of the dudes from Crankbait had a gimp mask on, and he was like standing on top of the stage. So you just got this like stunning visual of like this dude standing super high up with like this weird image projected their logo. It was just such a visceral, violent experience. It was so cool. So I got to, one thing I learned in the span of this like 4 or 5 days or whatever is that like Central Arkansas can pack a room like no place else in the world. It may not be the biggest, and it's not perfect. Not all the shows like are packed, but God, when this town puts on a show, it puts on a hell of a show, and I'm so grateful. I'm so glad I got to be a part of it. Getting to play that festival was so cool, So I'm very grateful for all that Central Arkansas has brought to my life as far as heavy metal goes. Something else really cool that I got to experience recently. I tried a pesto grilled cheese sandwich from a food truck over kind of behind Vito's that truck park called the Grilled Sandwich Company. And the sandwich was just so good because it's like Texas toast with like the garlic spread and stuff on it, and then like the pesto was absolutely incredible, and it's just super duper cheesy, and she's got so much other cool stuff on the menu there, and so like I had heard of it until recently, and so I'm very glad I checked out. So definitely, if you like grilled cheese sandwiches or a variety of grilled sandwiches, that food truck is definitely a great place to check out. There's been some really cool, something I want to get to is there's some show announcement that happened here in the last few weeks. Specifically, actually this was announced today. On December 3rd, legendary heavy metal band Wasp is going to be coming to the Hall. They're going to be playing with thrash legends Death Angel and a band called Unto Others that I'm a big fan of. They're like kind of like they're like a mix of like between like goth and like heavy metal, and they're from like Portland, and so I'm just so glad they're coming here, especially at a place like the Hall. This is going to be a really cool show. Another cool show announcement on July 19th at Vino's, Crashcast is going to present live band emo night featuring Prop Hunter, and basically what they're going to be doing is they're going to be playing a set, like they're going to be playing like all your favorite emo songs and stuff, but there's going to be like people are going to get to sing along. There's going to be karaoke, so it's kind of an immersive experience. So like if you like emo night but you like want to hear like live amplifiers and stuff, like this is definitely going to be something cool. I just want to say thank you so much for watching. Be sure and check out this week's episode of the Crashcast featuring Caleb Bruce, drummer and blogger. Also be sure to check out the Ringo Report on Facebook and Instagram. And I just want to say thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. And stay tuned for next week. We've got a whole lot of other cool stuff coming. A lot of crazy shows are about to start popping up here in Central Arkansas. So I'll be standing on top of all of that for you. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.